G'day, welcome. It's time for another Creaky Gamers Kings of War Battle Report. Let's go roll some hot dice.
Okay, just back from a one-day, three-game tourney a couple of days ago, and I decided to take the Goblins because I was going to take the Rift Forge Orcs, but the Goblins hadn't won a game in 7 games. So the last tournament they lost 3 in a row, and I think if you look on the channel, they've lost every game they've played because I've been trying to make them combat Goblins. So I decided, after much advice on Facebook groups and so on, that you need to have some long-range shooting, and Grony Snark needs Host Shadow Beast to become a little bit more reliable and so on. Anyway, let's have a look at the list and what changes I've made from last time. So look at my last video. I didn't have any long-range shooting except a unit of spitters, which didn't do very well. So let's have a look at the characters first. I've got Grony Snark, and I've given him Headstrong this time. So he's got Jareth's Pendant, so he's got Headstrong. That's my stand-in Grony Snark model. I'm working on a guy riding a rocket. He's not quite finished yet, so I didn't get to take him. I just took this guy meant to look like he's flying around. Okay, and then I've got this Wiz. This Wiz, mounted Wiz, has got the Banner of Abbottshire, which I think will help me stop getting zapped off the table and so on. So he's got the Banner of Abbottshire. He's got Host Shadow Beast 6, and he's also got Hex, so must have a spare 10 points in there. Plus he's got Lightning Bolt as well. So that's that Wiz. And then I've got Magua and Joe. Joos, whatever you Joss. And so that's the special character guy. So he's Lightning Bolt 4, vicious in melee, and he's a duelist. So he's another target for Host Shadow Beast if Grony dies early on. And then I've got another little Wiz with Inspiring Talisman. And he's got a knowledgeable spellcaster tier +1, so he's got the Veil of Shadows to maybe give me some help against shooting. So a couple of defensive items and a couple of offensive characters. Very offensive. Okay, then we'll start the list going down the top. If you look at my list, it's all that's my list from the weekend. It was very wet on the weekend. It's got coffee stains all over it, and it's soaked. It was pouring rain all weekend. Anyway, there's a horde of rabble, just plain old ordinary rabble, and then I've got a legion of rabble. So the Legion of Rabble's got the Hammer of Measured Force. Now the reason I've gone for a Legion is because not many units will be able to just go bang and crash through a Legion of Rabble. So they're just there as a tar pit to hang on to a position or something. Then I'm giving Grogger's Lug Lads another go. So I know they're expensive, and only crushing 1 and so on. But anyway, there's Grogger's Lug Lads, 245 points. Dash 22 nerves, so they're not bad. I'm giving them another go because last time I used them I sort of threw them away a lot. Then I've got the Mincer Mobs again because I like them, and so I've got the red ones. The red ones have got the Brewer Sharpness, and the blue ones have got the Brewer Strength, so they can have crushing 2 if they get hindered and so on. Then I've got a horde of trolls. I hate trolls because they hit on 4s and they've got low nerve. But I've given them the Pipes of Terror, and I've upgraded them with detonation packs so they explode. So I don't know if that's going to work out or not, but we'll see what happens. And then I decided I needed a bit of speed, so I've got one regiment of Fleabag Riders with a Maw Pup and the Potion of the Caterpillar. So that'll give me some threat range. And then my long range threat is my 3 big rock throwers. And I've got a Winget as well with the bombs away, so that will make the rock lobbers elite. So it gives me a long range threat, so I'm not just people just walking up and zapping me and then charging in and killing goblins, because goblins don't fight that well. So that was the inclusion, just that contingent there really. The Winget, the rock lobbers, and the trolls, the exploding trolls, and the Fleabag Riders. These old rock lobbers, these are scratch built. So I made back in Kings of War version 1. These are made out of paddle pop sticks and 25mm bases for the wheels and paddle pop sticks cut up. So there, and they've got some old metal orc crew on them. Anyway, so I made those. So they're like a family heirloom now, those things. So that's the army. So 2,300 points, and we've got a little bit of long range threat over here, and some staying power there. A bit of combat with the that's my dogs. Hey, you two, shush. A bit of combat power there, maybe, and the Groany Snark annoying threat. So we'll see what happens. Okay, and before I start, I have a confession to make. I forgot all about Groany's malfunctioning flight suit. So when he moves, you've got to roll a dice, and on a 1, he takes a point of damage, and everyone within 6 takes a point of damage as well. So I'll stick my... there's my Groany Snark work in progress. So I'll roll the dice now for game 1. And we'll see if it would make any difference. I hope not. But anyway, so let's go. Turn 1. I got a 2. Turn 2. I got a 2. Turn 3. I got a 4. So he hasn't blown up yet. Turn 4. I got a 2. Turn 5. I got a 5. And then turn 6. I got a 3, so it hasn't made any difference in game 1, and on turn 7 if there was one. Alright, so there we go. So I don't feel so bad now. So that's what he rolled for all the turns in game 1. So let's do it again for game 2 while I'm here. Alright, sorry this is a bit tedious, but anyway, so turn 1 in game 2. So he gets a 2, so that's okay. And then turn 2. I'll do that one again, it's cocked. Turn 2 he got a 6. So he didn't blow up. Turn 3. Turn 3, he takes a wound. So we'll see if that makes a difference where he was and where if he blows up. Turn 4, he got a 6. Turn 5, he got a 2. Turn 6, he's okay. I haven't rolled many ones here. And then on turn 7, if there was one. All right, so try and remember that on turn 3, depending on where he is, he's going to blow up and take a wound. And then on the third game, let's see what happens. Turn 1, he rolls a 3. Oops, dropping dice now. Turn 2, he gets a 4. Turn 3, he gets a 6. So he hasn't blown up yet, that's good. Turn 4, he takes a 5, that's okay. Turn 6, a 3. No, turn 5 that was. Turn 6 now. All right, so turn 6, he takes a wound and blows up. And then the last turn, if there was a 7. All right, so in game 3, on turn 6, his flight suit malfunctions. And what that means is that he'll take a wound, and anyone within 6 will take a wound as well. So I think by that time, he's probably into combat with someone else by then, though we'll see what happens. Okay, so apologies. I'll try and remember. Well, I will remember from now on. But I feel bad that I didn't do it during the tournament on the weekend. Okay. And the other thing to say, thanks to Nick for running the tournament, and I left my tape measure at home, so he even ran the tournament, and he lent me a tape measure. So I usually have one in my bag, but I didn't have one in my bag or my box. All right, so let's get on with the report, and we'll see how the army goes. Okay, so round 1, I'm playing Michael and his fantastic looking Nightstalker army. And as you can see, we're on a very, very blue table. So I'll go over the Nightstalkers deployment first, but as you've seen my army list, so you can see I've got my Fleabag Riders and Wingit on the left flank with my Sharpness Mincer Mob. Magwar and Joe are there, and the Inspiring Wizards there, and the Legion of Rabble, and the Rock Lobbers at the back. And I've shortened up my deployment. There's my right flank. So I've got Grogger's Lug Lads in the middle. Groany Snark is just behind them, that little puff of smoke. There's the banner of Abbottshire, Wiz and the Trolls, another rock lobber pointing that direction, Mincer Mob and Rabble holding the flank on their own. So let's have a look at the Nightstalker army. Okay, well, let's have a look at the Nightstalker deployment. Now, as you know, the scenario is dominate, so you've got to get into the centre. So he's got some slow stuff in the middle, and then on his left flank, if I get these names wrong, no, sorry. Anyway, Dreadfiend. That's a Dreadfiend. I'm looking up the names of them. Dreadfiend and Fiends, and they are Phantoms. So he's got a very fast left flank. So they're all going to shoot down that left flank and outflank me. He's hiding the Mind Screechers behind the blocking terrain there, so he's a bit worried about my catapults. But he's got a very fast outflanking force, and I've only got one horde of rabble on that flank to try and stop them. Then in the centre, so probably going for the objective in the centre, that's where the objective is, to get into the centre there. So he's got some shambling little units, regiments of scarecrows, and behind them are the real danger, which are the, what are they called? Fiends? No, terrors. What are they? Reapers. Reapers in the middle. Yeah, they're the ones with lots of attacks. So they'll tear through any goblins they meet. And then on the right flank, he's put them way out here, 2 hordes of butchers. They look pretty mean. And I think another Dreadfiend there and another troop of Phantoms. And he's got the Portal of Despair, and he's also upgraded that with, Radiance of Life, which he forgets to use. So that might make a difference later on. So I haven't seen the Portal of Despair before, but it gives Inspiring to a unit on the table anywhere he wants. So facing off on that left flank, as you can see, I've got the Winget. I'm hoping the Winget's going to get up there over there and throw some bombs or do some spotting. Then I've got the Mincer Mob with the Sharpness, Brewer Sharpness there to try and stop the butchers on the right flank, his right flank. And I'm hoping that these rock lobbers can get lucky, because I need 6s to hit. So I'm hoping they're going to maybe get a 6 somewhere and do some damage. Otherwise, those butchers are just going to march forward and tear me a new one. And then on that right flank, he's got all that fast stuff coming. So that horde of rabble's got a lot of work to do on that right flank. And I'm going to try and push Grogger's Lug Lads and the other Mincer Mob forward to try and have the unit strength in the middle. But I guess the Nightstalkers are going to have something to say about that. So, as expected, here's turn 1, and he's marching up that left flank, and he's got the butchers and so on, a very strong right flank and a very slow centre. So I have to deal with this right flank somehow, and I think now we're up to turn 2. I've had my first turn. I think he's moved up, and he's turned in the Fiends, so the Fiends moved up, and then during his turn 2, he's moved up and turned all these threats in. And so I'm already in a bit of trouble on my right flank with all that fast up, moving up. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I do have Groany Snark there. And what I've been trying to do is slow down those Mind Screechers, because I've seen them before, and Lightning Bolt just tears into me. So I bombed one and hexed the other one. So that slowed the Mind Screechers down. So the Mind Screechers got bombed and hexed. So I did have a bit of luck with some shooting there. Over on the left flank, he moved that Dreadfiend up, and I got really lucky here. I dropped a bomb on the Dreadfiend, and one rock lobber got 2 6s. So that was pretty lucky, and then I wavered the Dreadfiend. So he ended up getting bombed by a rock lobber and wavered on that flank. So that slows him down, and he sort of left the butchers back a bit. So I'm happy about that. I don't want to fight the butchers. And I'm hoping to maybe drop some rocks on them and weaken them before the goblins have to fight them. That's the plan on my left flank. And in the centre, he's just going to shuffle forward with some of those scarecrows and so on. So, yeah, well, I didn't really do much about this flank moving up on me here, but I didn't have anything. I had to stop one flank. I couldn't stop both flanks happening to me. So these, what are they called? Phantoms. Phantoms are going to get stuck into that rock lobber. So my only hope is I've got Groany Snark there, so I'm hoping maybe in my turn 3, when he comes in, he can kill that rock lobber, and then Groany Snark will zoom back there and take them out. I'm hoping that's my plan. I don't want them behind my lines. I don't care if they kill that rock lobber, really. It's needing 6s to hit, so it's not going to really do much. And then on his right flank, he's moving those phantoms up behind the fence to get some cover. Not going to affect them. I'm going to drop bombs on them and lightning bolt the phantoms to death. And the Dread Fiend's going to move up. He's threatened by the... I don't want to send the flea bags up there. And I'm trying to get... I want to get the Winget up over behind them as well. Maybe he can start dropping some bombs on them as well. And so there's a bit of a battle here. I really don't want to get zapped by those Mind Screechers. But the Banner of Abbottshire is doing very well, slowing down the damage from the Mind Screechers. So they're getting stuck into him, and actually they're trying to lightning bolt the little guy, the little whiz, to try and get rid of him. So the Banner of Abbottshire is doing its job. He's not zapping my other units, so minimal damage. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen there, yeah, those phantoms are going to come across and get into my war machine there. So that's the situation. I'm glad those butchers are staying back. I don't really want to fight them. And I don't want them to come into the middle. So while they stay there, I'll stay here and we can look at each other. But in the middle, he's got the scarecrows and the reapers coming forward. So I'm a bit worried about those reapers. They've got heaps of attacks and they'll make a bit of a mess of any goblins they meet. And then the Legion of Rabble there, well, they're going to try and hold off the butchers. That's their job. So if the butchers come out of the woods, the Legion of Rabble will take them on bravely. And so here they come, and then they've got Wild Charge or something, those scarecrows, so they've come in. And then here's a bit of a disaster. So I pounced on those, what are they, phantoms with Groany Snark, and he went in there. I didn't have Host Shadow Beast because I think he might have wavered my whiz with Host Shadow Beast. So he went in there and Groany did 3 wounds. Yeah, I think that whiz was wavered or hexed or something. So Groany came in here, did 3 wounds, and in turn the phantoms wavered Groany. So Groany ends up being wavered in return by those phantoms. So Groany absolutely failed in this game to do anything there. In the centre, those Reapers are going to come in and cause me some trouble. And that Dread Fiend is going to get stuck. Oh, there's the Winget. The Winget's got over the back there. That's good. And that Dread Fiend's going to go into the Fleabag Riders. And so you can see there's the big threat. He's got this outflanking unit of phantoms. I've still got my horde of trolls that he's a bit wary about them blowing up. I'm a bit worried about those Reapers up the back coming in. So I'm going to take the bait anyway and send the horde of rabble are going to go into those scarecrows just to make sure I get rid of them out of the way. And but I'm being outflanked. And Groany is failing to do anything. So there's a bit of a standoff in the middle and a standoff on the left flank, and the trolls are still there. What's happened here? So what's happened here is the Winget combined with some rock lobbers have destroyed a unit of butchers. So one of the hordes of butchers died thanks to the Winget and some lucky shooting. And the Dread Fiend did go into the Fleabag Riders. The Fleabag Riders held, and then they finished off the Dread Fiend. So that was a victory for the Fleabag Riders. And they can now advance up that flank and go and attack the Portal of Despair. So we're sort of winning on the left flank. He still has that big unit of butchers. And so as you can see, Groany's sitting there wavered, and the Phantoms decide to ignore Groany, thinking he's useless. And they go and take out another war machine there. So those Phantoms have gone bang bang and taken out 2 war machines. And Groany's tripping over his own feet and failing his headstrong and not doing anything there. A bit of a standoff in the middle here, and I think what's going to happen is that unit of scarecrows combined with the Reapers are going to get into Grogger's Luglads. And there's going to be a couple of rounds of fighting there, but Michael does roll a double 1 on Grogger's Luglads. But eventually they get rid of Grogger's Luglads, so I've lost them. That's a big unit, strength 4 unit in the middle. Yeah, then the phantoms get into another war machine, but Groney will eventually go and finish off those phantoms behind me. So he does do something in the end. And then these butchers and the Legion of Rabble are going to fight each other for the rest of the game. So the Rabble aren't happy about that, but that's their job, just to keep them out of the centre. And eventually the Fleabag Riders are going to finish off the Portal of Despair. These wizards are going to get out of the way, and I've got a Mincer Mob with Brew of Sharpness just out of picture, and it's going to go in there and finish off that unit of Reapers. So that Mincer Mob with the Sharpness is going to come in there, finish off those Reapers. And I think I might finish off those Scarecrows as well, because at the end of the game, the unit strength is equal in the middle. Bit of a spoiler alert there, but the Trolls did a good job here. He was worried about the Trolls detonating and doing lots of damage there. But at the end of the table, there's like the centre of the table, and he has a unit of Reapers and the Mind Screech, and I end up with the Mincer Mob and a Winget in the middle of the table. So it ends up a draw. If he had just moved those Fiends up, he could have won the game with unit strength in the middle. But it was very close, and I had a bit of luck with dropping a couple of bombs here and there and a double one and so on. So the Goblins will take a draw as a victory, I think, at this stage. So, yeah, once again, I apologise for forgetting about Groney Snark's negative rule, rolling a 1, but I rolled the dice there and it wouldn't have made much difference. But if I remembered it, I probably would have spaced him out a bit anyway. But thanks for the game, Michael. I think I was outplayed here because he did sneak up my right flank there, but there wasn't much I could do about it. I didn't want to... If I spread out more, he could have just picked off units with his better combat. And I was kind of happy that the butchers stayed back on that my left flank. And those Reapers, woo, they can fight pretty well. So I didn't want to fight them either. So I think the Goblins did okay. A few losses and a few lucky shots, bombing that Dread Fiend with a Rock Lobber on turn 1 and wavering him, and then actually removing a unit of Butchers with shooting. And I got rid of one unit of Phantoms there, the ones that are in the woods up there with some lightning bolts. But I think the Bannon of Abbottshire did pretty well, and so the Goblins will march on to round 2. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This show is awful.
Terrible.
Disgusting.
See you next week.
Of course.